Hello, how are you? It's Tuesday. I decided to come on and just, help people out on Tuesdays. So every Tuesday, I'll either post a tip or if people come through with questions, I'll answer their questions directly. But I wanted to come forward and just be like, sometimes we just need to help each other out and kind of cut through the clutter of gunk out there and really interact with each other. And so that's what my hope is with Tuesday Tips is, number one, we all have skill sets. This is my skill set and I want to help out. So if you have questions, please let me know. Today we are talking sugar. The reason why we're talking sugar is because my friend Melissa came on to ask about it, and I wanted to tell you that, first of all, I get asked about sugar all the time. This is something that comes up with clients all the time. It comes up with when I ask people about the relationship with food, often sugar comes forward as a challenge for people to deal with. And so I just wanted to let's address it. And first of all, be really clear about who I am in the world when we talk about sugar. First of all, if you're looking for a trainer that's going to, tell you to withhold all things sugar and never have another bite of sugar again and demonize it and make it, I'm not your girl. There are lots of other trainers that are going to have that conversation. I am not that girl, okay? So let's be really clear about that. I am never going to be the trainer that says deprive yourself of pretty much anything. I think that it's all interesting to have conversations about, okay? So let's talk about sugar. Sugar, like many, many things that we consume, is something that kind of lights up our pleasure centers. And great, isn't that delightful and wonderful? And also, it's something to just watch and pay attention to, because everybody's got things that, there's lots of things that light us up, and sugar is one of those. It lights up our pleasure centers. It's delicious. It's wonderful. Hey, it's good. But I want to really quick say that we're not here to demonize sugar. Sugar is just part of life. It's one of life's pleasures, right? So let's not demonize it and be like, hey, sugar sucks. Never eat it. Never have any of it. It's awful. Don't do it. That's not where I want to come from. And I really think that's not helpful or necessarily appropriate. So let's start by saying we're not going to demonize sugar. I'm not going to do it. But we want to be really, really realistic and say that, yeah, it's a pleasure provider. For me, it's not a pleasure provider as much as salty crunchy. For me, potato chips are my jam, and I'm more likely to go towards salty crunchy. So whatever it is for you, this topic of sugar can be about sugar if that's your thing, but it can also be about other things that may light you up and that you may want to investigate your relationship with. Make sense? Okay. All right. So the first question that I would ask about anything that you are tussling with is, are you tussling with it? And how much space does it take up in your brain? Because as soon as you start to pay attention to how much space it's taking up in your brain, are you thinking about it all the time? Are you wondering about when the next time you can have sugar will be? Are you wondering about, if you see sugar out, are you like, oh, yes, please, I'm gonna, it's a craving. That's taking up some space in your noggin. And that's what we want to start paying attention to, because then it's starting to be the tail that wags the dog instead of the dog wagging the tail, right? It's starting to have some grip, some control, it's taking up space in your brain. And so with anything, and as a recovering smoker, as a recovering person who consumed alcohol to excess, as a person who, believe me, I've had some things that take up space in my brain. So I just want to normalize it and be like, I get it. I get it. Okay. So that's the first thing, is you're not alone. Believe me, every human being walking this earth has some things that are taking up some space in your brain. Then it's deciding how you want to contend with it, right? Okay, so let's first, I'm just going to talk really quick about a very common theme that comes through with questions for me. Okay, so I'm just going to read some of this. Sugar is everywhere, and I literally have no control. The only way I can manage it is if I go cold turkey with no sneaks, though that takes enormous self-control. Okay, so let's talk about that really quick. That is clearly the words of someone who's got sugar that's taken up some space in their brain. So what I would ask is, let's start examining the relationship and not make it about deloading it. First of all, it's not a shame-filled thing. It's not something that you want to be like, I feel terrible, I ate it, I feel bad, I've been bad. It's just food. Okay, so let's start there. It's just a foodstuff. Okay, it just happens to be a foodstuff that's taken up some space in your brain. So there's this circular thing that happens where you eat it, you feel shame about it because you feel like you shouldn't have eaten it. So I think the first thing I would start to contend with is deloading it in your life. It's just sugar. It's just sugar. That's all it is. It's just something that you stick in your mouth. Okay? As far as feeling like you have no control, so right away I would say that sneaks thing, I would get rid of that kind of languaging. It's just sugar. The second thing I would start to contend with is the idea that you don't have any control, because that's where I would remind people that you do have some control, but it feels out of control. And so I would start to play with taking a pause and asking myself within a situation. I would start saying, first of all, am I really hungry? And second of all, I would ask, if I'm not hungry and I still want to eat this sugar, what is it that I really need? What is it that I really need in that moment? And what comes up when you start to ask those questions, when you stop signing yourself from mindlessly, without thinking, and eating sugar, you can stop yourself and be like, whoa, first of all, am I hungry? And second of all, if I'm not hungry, what is it that I really am? And what is it that I really need? Am I stressed? And do I need comfort? Am I lonely? Do I need a hug? Am I lonely and I need contact with people? What is it that I need? And that, my friend, is where things get really juicy. Because what often happens is we go to the easy fun buttons of whatever they are: sugar, for me, potato chips, alcohol, cigarettes, give me some more. That's what we tend to go to when we get whatever uncomfortable, whatever that uncomfortable feeling is. And then sugar turns into a fun button, like Pavlovian. And it's not about enjoying, it's about getting that uncomfortable feeling gone, whatever it is. I think it'd be interesting to sit with whatever that discomfort is, stop sign it, and say, wow, I'm not really hungry, but I really want this sugar. What is it that I'm feeling? And how can I care for myself within this moment? Make sense? So the tip today is not saying never. That is never where I'm going to come from. It's about being present in the enjoyment of it. So this is where we're going to start to transition from, okay, I'm using sugar as a fun button, I sense that there's something happening and that it's taking up space in my brain. Let's transition to some tools so that we can start to play with our relationship with sugar, change maybe our relationship with sugar, so that you have some more tools in your toolbox in dealing with it. The first thing I would offer up is in that stop sign where you can kind of stop and go, whoa, I'm just gonna eat this, and there might be some more happening there. That takes practice. But the next thing that I would offer is a breath there to help you start to contend with, I'm having some feelings, and what are they? Take a minute there. And in that minute, you get to decide a couple things. But it's a conscious decision. It's not an unconscious decision. In that decision, you get to decide, because you're a grown up, you're a grown ass woman, you get to make these decisions and there's no shame around it. You get to say, do I want to enjoy this sugar, or do I want to find something else to give myself what it is that I might need instead? Okay? And if you decide that you want to enjoy the sugar, then enjoy the heck out of it. Enjoy it. Turn off the television, turn off your phone. Be really present in the enjoyment of the sugar, because it's a pleasurable thing. So be present in it. Instead of, watching TV and eating, a sleeve of Thin Mints. I've done that before. Be present in it. Turn off, and really enjoy it. Be present in the consumption of it. Yeah. It's about if you're going to make the choice, rock on, then be present in the choice and enjoy the choice. And the second thing that I would say, as far as a tip, right now I'm just saying stop sign, evaluate. Those are some tips. Take a breath, and then make a conscious decision about your enjoyment of. But the last thing I want to leave you with is a tool that comes out of yogic philosophy. They're called the Yamas, and it's called brahmacharya. And brahmacharya, for simplicity's terms, I would say it's about that just right amount of enjoyment, that pleasure, enjoying pleasure, and having it be kind of like the three bears, where you're not enjoying it to excess and too much, because then it gets uncomfortable and you feel gross. Or conversely, you deprive yourself. That's the other end. What's the right spot in the middle of enjoyment, where you can be present enough in the enjoyment of the pleasurable thing, whatever it is, but you're in the middle of it. You're not taking it to excess, and you're not depriving yourself. What's that middle ground that you can play with, so that you can enjoy life's pleasures? Yes, hell yes, hell yes. But it starts taking up less space in your brain because you're having a conscious participation in the process of eating it. And then it starts to lessen its grip in your brain. And it starts to feel less like you're sneaking, or that you need to go cold turkey, or that you don't have any self-control. Because you're making a conscious decision and you're being present in the consumption of. Okay? And you're enjoying that middle area where it's not too much and it's not depriving, because this is this one beautiful life. Enjoy the heck out of it, right? So that, my friends, is where I am on sugar today. I do want to tell you a quick story, and it's important that you know this and that this is where I come from. I had a situation about 3 years ago where I went on vacation and I had quit drinking. And I had every day a combination of kind of like lemonade and ginger beer every day for about a week. And I came back and I went back into my normal life, which does not involve lemonade and ginger beer. And I had withdrawal symptoms from the mainlining sugar that I had been doing. And I'm not exaggerating, I was having like a 6-pack a day. I had a horrible headache. For 2 days, I felt terrible. And in that moment, I was like, whoa, for myself, this is something I need to really pay attention to because it sneaks up on you. This kind of, for me, this substance with me is something that I had no idea that it had that kind of physical response for me. And so I did a 7-day kind of, let's see how it feels to not do sugar for 7 days. What does it feel like? And I have that and I'll stick it below. And if you want to play with that, that is totally up to you. I did it simply as an experiment. And I also did it so that I could kind of go, whoa, I'm having a big reaction here. How can I approach being in relationship with sugar? And it really informed my future relationship with sugar by going through this 7-day kind of step back reapproach. But again, see how it feels for you. This is truly, I feel like every human being has their own journey with sugar or with whatever substance is taking up space in their brain. And this has been my journey, is that I very much feel like it's meant to be enjoyed, and I will, and I do. And I also really want to be present and in the middle of the road with my enjoyment of all the things, of all the sensory pleasures of the world. I want to not take it too far in either direction. All right, let me know if you have any questions. I'm delighted that you're here. Say hello, 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 hello. And I hope to talk to you soon. If you have questions for future Tuesday tips, either email them to me at sarah@sarahtorino.com or stick them below in the comments and I will address them next week. All right, have a good one. See ya. Let's see if I can end this gracefully.